Television and movie representations of salespeople. Beyond Willy Loman, written by Catherine B. Hartman, project by Anna Patterson, Ryan Wilson, and Emily Hadd. This paper aims to examine media representations of cultural stereotypes, specifically those surrounding salespeople occupations. Due to popular culture, the sales occupation has gained an abundance of negative attention, especially rooted in film, and this paper will dissect 281 various television shows and movies to find the untested truth behind salespeople stereotypes. Through this paper, Hartman classifies titles and characters by genre, time period, gender, description, role, occupation, and archetype. She also categorizes the role of salespeople portrayed in films as heroes, characters involved in the central plot, the villain, characters representing negative character traits, and supporting, characters represented as an ally, sidekick, love interest, etc. This paper includes television shows and movies spanning from 1903 to 2005 in order to discover the evolution of portrayals of salespeople in the media. In addition to salespeople, Hartman also discusses representations of other occupations and groups. She examines the root of cultural stereotypes in popular culture and how it can easily affect a viewer's perspective of various individuals of different occupations or backgrounds. The goal of this paper is to describe and analyze the negative roles of characters occupying sales occupations, as well as media representations of occupations, gender, racial, or ethnic groups in movies and television from 1903 through 2005 as a reflection of ideals in popular culture.
Different movies and TV shows were used when the research was conducted on views of salespeople. The films and shows were Death of a Salesman, 1985, The Music Man, 1962, Pete's Dragon, 1977, and WKRP in Cincinnati, 1978 to 82, and Door to Door, 2002. Very little research on the views of salespeople existed prior to this study, and the research that did exist painted salespeople in a bad light by portraying them as unethical, shady, and greedy.
The sample size was 281 and came from IMDb. It consisted of 211 movies, 44 short movies, and 26 movies and television. The sample came from a variety of genres, including 96 from comedy, 47 from drama, 37 from romance, 24 from thriller, 36 from action, 22 from family, and 19 from other. The timeline was between 1903 to 2005 and consisted of 284 salespeople. In the table, the asterisk in the P column value indicates there was significant relationship between them. The two ways data was examined was by archetype characteristic in order to provide measurable description of how salespeople have been portrayed, and by using cross tabulations in the chi-square test to determine variances across the group. As shown in the table, 9 of the 15 relationships are statistically significant, such as role by description, archetype by description, and occupation by gender. The table was used to study information collected in order to determine relationships in 6 categories: time period, gender, description, role, occupation, and archetype. A few important facts that were collected from the data are negative descriptions occurred often, female characters had more positive descriptions, and non-store sales occupations were looked at positively. The analysis determined that over the past 100 years, the perception of salespeople has not changed. There was not a statistical relationship between most of the categories. The only statistical relationship was between time periods and sales occupation. Positively portrayed characters may have been overlooked by critics. In summary, the data collected supported the hypothesis. It also showed that the perceptions of salespeople from critics and society is negative and will most likely continue.
The data supported the hypothesis. after examining the negative portrayals exhibited throughout the various television shows and movies. Negative character characteristics prevailed throughout the study and has shown that it is a common trend for salespeople to be portrayed in a negative light, especially when they occupy an important role in the film. These negative character portrayals can be detrimental to the sales occupation. The negative character descriptions can reflect negatively on real salespeople, resulting in viewers developing negative ideas about sales personalities and associating all sales activities to be inherently bad. Audiences begin to associate salespeople with typically negative qualities such as greed, deception, distrust, and selfishness. Although this is true, there are also films that portray sales personalities in a positive light. This could begin to give viewers positive takeaways surrounding the typically negative stereotypes of the occupation. These positive portrayals offer a way to spread positive messages about the occupation of a salesperson. As a community, they should endorse films that show a positive view of the occupation in order to flip the stereotypes that audiences carry with them.
To improve the research, newer films should be used because over time society changes and ideas about certain topics can shift over time. This study chose to focus on main characters only in the films, and they left out supporting roles. If supporting roles were included, the results could change. Only the plot summary was used in this study also, so other important information could have been left out. To update this study and make it more accurate, newer films should be studied and also include supporting roles, and more than just the plot summary should be studied. In order to determine the exact character descriptions and ideals throughout the television show or movie, one could analyze the dialogue or script from either media form. This would make the writer's intention much clearer, rather than just strictly going based on audio recordings only. Another way of making the study more effective would be by taking viewer surveys. One of the main concerns is that the negative portrayal of characters such as salespeople is leaving viewers with negative ideas surrounding certain characters. If someone were to use viewer surveys, they would be able to support the theory that the way filmmakers portray characters will affect the audience's real-life expectations of people associated with the character's occupation, gender, race, or ethnic group.
In conclusion, the perspectives of salespeople are inherently negative, especially when characters involved in these occupations are the main focus of the plot. This causes negative stereotypes surrounding salespeople no matter previous experiences. This could also be said about various other occupations, genders, races, and ethnic groups. The same results found from this research can also be assumed about various groups were they portrayed negatively in television shows or movies.